Hi everyone, welcome back to this page from Tiny Year by Agotapop. These pictures are from her April Tiny series on Etsy, as well as in this Colouring Heaven book. And when I did my sort of, I'd say flip through, it's a download, when I showed you the Etsy pictures last year for the April Tinies, I did coloured this particular picture. So I do already have a video of me colouring this page. I haven't looked back to see what I did because I don't want to do that. We'll just see whether it's the same or not, I don't know. And you can go and have a look at that one if you want to compare. So we have a lovely little bonsai tree. It's just so cute, with beautiful blossom and eggs hanging in it. I'm going to start with the trunk of the tree. Now I'm going to have a little look. We've got quite dark browns. Let's have a think. Don't really want to go in too dark. Let's go for the brown. Oh, just need to adjust my pencil case slightly. Yeah, if I use the brown first, it is quite, I think it will work. It's slightly lighter. I can't get it to show up. And these are Holbeins, by the way, in case you haven't watched any of the other videos, but you can use whatever you wish to colour along. I'm just using these because I'm lucky enough to have them, and they have a nice selection of pastel tones, which is what I wanted to use. In yesterday's video I was talking a little bit about other pastel sets if you wanted some pastel pencils. I do have a little video on that actually, where I waffle on about pastel pencils, so there's that if you want to find out a little bit more. You can go and have a nosy at that. There we go. Now that's a little bit too orangey for my liking, but I just wanted a sort of base colour that wasn't a really dark brown. So we're now going to go for the chocolate, which is a much darker brown, as you can imagine. It doesn't want to be... Oh, there you can see it, chocolate. Now I'm thinking that this bit of trunk here is probably a bit behind the other, so there might be this sort of shadowy area here, and probably on the edge as well, like that, and then just, yeah, just work through like that. And then again the edge of this one might be a little bit darker, thinking about the sort of way they're shaped. There. I'm going to put a bit of this colour on all of it, partly because I'm not such a big fan of the reddish browns, not for tree trunks, although of course they exist, you know, copper birch and that sort of thing do look quite pretty. It's so interesting. I was at the where were we? Let me think. Oh yes, at our local museum, which is in the park, our local park, and I'd gone to look at a little exhibition with my husband, which is quite interesting. And anyway, I think I had talked about it in a previous video, but there's a tree in the park, and he knew what it was called, I didn't. And the bark is so soft that you can sort of punch it and it will absorb, you know, it's really spongy. And someone will know what it's called. And he was showing me how there's sort of all the way around at sort of kids' height level, there were little marks in the bark where kids had been punching the tree. I felt quite sorry for the poor tree, to be honest. I'm going to use the evergreen colour for the grass. Here we go. Usually on bonsais I think you tend to put a moss, but this does look like grass, so that's how I'm going to colour it. Yeah, my mum used to have a lovely bonsai tree. She had a sort of kit, and that one didn't, I'm just going to sharpen up, didn't make it, but I think it was a sycamore that she planted, and it just came up and it was ever so strong, and it was lovely. It did die off in the end, I think, but it was really, the trunk was all bent round, and you know, it's all gnarly and just lovely. I feel like I would like to grow one, but they take so long. But then a small sapling tree is just as pretty as a really big one. Someone told me, or did I dream it? Or did I see it on Facebook, which isn't reliable? No, my son told me, that's right. Again, probably not reliable. You probably saw it on YouTube. That bonsai trees grow real size fruit. I find that hard to believe. So if you grow a bonsai apple tree, it'll grow normal sized apples. I feel like I want to try. But you have to have the right sort of dish to grow a bonsai, because you want to restrict the root size. This is way too deep. You would have this saucer and you would just lay the roots across the bottom of the saucer, because you need to restrict the roots or else the tree gets too big. So it would be an interesting idea to try and grow one. As I say, you need the right saucer. I know my mum had one, they were really expensive, but of course you wouldn't need to buy a specific bonsai saucer. I suppose you could just buy a flat dish. Maybe they don't do them. This is cherry blossom. It does feel like this is a cherry blossom tree, and I'm going to use it for the tree, but these ones down here, which do look the same, just sharpening it up, I'm going to, got a pen running across the desk, well, rolling, not running, didn't grow legs. I do the ones at the bottom in a slightly different colour, but this is a lovely pale pink. I think this one's going to run out really quickly. It is a very pretty colour, and I just seem to use it a lot. But there we go. The centres are normally just a little bit darker pink, aren't they? Yeah, I'll try something. I've got an idea. I don't know what colour the leaves are. We'll find something that'll work in a bit. We used to have a flowering cherry in our garden when I was little. Used to have nice, but the blossoms don't last long, do they? And it used to have, I don't know if it grew cherries or not. And then my neighbours had a plum tree in their garden, and they had no idea if the plums were edible, so they didn't used to eat them, because it was, I think it was there when they moved in. They bought the house off plan. Perhaps it was. Anyway, but one time they decided to send the plums away for analysis. Apparently there was somewhere you could send it to, some horticultural place, to find out whether they were edible. And they identified what type of plum they were, and they were. So suddenly, after lots and lots of years, like 20 years maybe of living in the house with this little tree, it was a small, they kept it quite small, they pruned it so it didn't take over the whole garden. And suddenly they had this abundance of plums that, rather than just either leaving to rot or just picking up and throwing away or on their compost heap, they suddenly had all these plums they could eat. So that was rather thrilling for them. I think we used to have some as well. This is rose pink. I'm going to use this for the centres. Yeah, because they would give a few to my mum because she was friendly with them. So that was always nice. Now this is quite a stark colour. It's quite intense compared to the cherry blossom. At the end I shall get some white pen and go over this a little bit, and hopefully it will tone it down a little bit and should make it look a little bit more like a cherry blossom. There we go. Now these leaves, I feel we need something reasonably pale. I'm sort of leaning towards the lettuce green, but the opal green might work. Oh, just looking at my swatch chart. No, I'm going to go for the lettuce. Let's go with my gut feeling, my original instinct. Lettuce green. I shall give it a sharpen. Yeah, my father-in-law has a plum tree, I think. He doesn't always get many. Is it a plum? No, he has cherries, that's right. He has a cherry tree. And it's a really, really tall tree. So you can only get the cherries once they've fallen off. And so sometimes, I've got a bit of branch there. I'm going to attend to that before I forget. So a teensy bit of brown. Remember we started with brown. I'm also just going to examine the rest of the tree. No, that's the only bit I missed. And then the chocolate, remember. Yeah, so you can only pick the plums, cherries up off the ground, so you have to be there at the right time. I remember I've got a photograph of one of my boys with handfuls and all cherry juice all over his face. But my other son didn't like having to spit the seeds out. He always liked me to, when we bought cherries, to cut them up. I'm trying to work out what that, oh, it's the string for the egg. Oh, that's fine. He would want me to cut them up so that he could just eat them without worrying about the stone in the middle. So I would do that for him. You do, don't you? I think he still would want that, but we have an olive stoner which you can use for cherries, so he can use that, which makes the job a little bit easier. Now I'm going to decide on the colour of those flowers at the bottom before I do the eggs, because I want sort of different colours. I think I'm going to go for a wisteria for those. Oops, if I can grab it. There we go. Is that the wisteria? No, this is the mauve. I've grabbed the mauve. Let's use that. I think it'll work just as well. Yeah. There we go. Yeah, the only thing with me plotting and planning a bonsai tree is that I don't have green fingers. I've actually got a few plants in my house that I've managed to keep alive, but I think that's more chance and luck than any sort of skill. I've got a geranium my friend gave me a cutting, and it just about manages. The leaves always die all the time and I pick them off and then it grows more, and it's a really weird shape, and I try and sort of prune it, but I can't prune it too hard because the leaves always grow in a really weird place, so it's really difficult to get a nice shape to it, so I'm not very good at that. And then I've got a peace lily, I think that's what they're called, in my bathroom, which is very resilient. Sometimes it just flops down like it's got, you know, no water. Yeah. And I water it and then within a day it's back to life again. It's like, phew. So that's good. I don't know whether those plants are just particularly good for that, but it's lucky. This is mint green, and I have a Christmas cactus, which obviously doesn't demand too much water, being a cactus, which is quite useful. It does sometimes though. And it seems to flower twice a year. I know people will say, oh, Christmas cactus often flower in Easter as well. Well, ours is, I guess Easter changes, so that might have an influence, but ours has already flowered for the second time this year, but it didn't flower as much as Christmas, but actually the flowers are usually nearly over by Christmas. It tends to, we just call it our Diwali cactus because it flowers around that time of year. I'm just trying to think of that flower centre colour. I think I'm going to go for this colour with the Naples yellow. And then it's finished flowering, so I called it a Ramadan cactus this year, but had Easter been early, it might have, I don't know what time. I don't think, is Easter ever in March? I'm not sure. Anyway, I think because, you know, we have our central heating on, it confuses it a bit, but it makes us happy when it flowers. Oh, you know, it looks like little fireworks going off. My husband also says this is horizon blue. I can do one of the eggs. So that's a bit of a joy. The cactus, but that's all I have inside because I don't have many windowsills. Oh, I have a fern actually on next to my geranium. That's always got loads of dead fronds on it, and I'm not sure whether that's how it is or whether I've done something horribly wrong. But you know, lilac, I sometimes cut them off and pick them off and try and make it, but it just continues. But anyway, who knows. But that's that one. But no, I famously can't really. I'm just a bit rubbish when it comes to plants. I think I'm going to go for a peach, the last egg. So, but outside we've got a fern we've had for a very long time, which is nice. And the grasses that we bought just recently are still surviving, which is a good sign. You never know whether we weren't sure whether they would be happy with our soil, which is not the nicest. I'm just trying to decide what colour pot, and I'm thinking that this blue might look nice. This is the Forget-Me-Not blue. It's a long name, isn't it? And I'm just going to go for it and see what happens. What else have we got in the garden? I've got some bluebells coming up. They self-planted from my neighbour. They're loads this year. So that I'm hoping that will be a rather nice show. Because I said to my mum, they really spread. She said, oh, they will. Oh, that's nice. And we usually have some poppies coming up under the fence as well, but I don't think they have come up yet. I think it's a little bit early for those. So we're waiting a bit for them. Now this, as our little label, just having a little think. I do the grass first. I want to do a different colour for the grass I've done already for grass, but I can't remember all the different grass colours that I've used. But what's that colour? Yeah, I'm going to do the opal green. It's a bit different. So what else have we got? Oh, we've got a few pots. I've got one snapdragon that's come back up this year that I had a few last year. So that's nice. It's flowering, it's yellow. And I've got some other plants in that pot. I was given the pot with the plants and I've got no idea what they are. I'm going to do this in grey to make it look slightly silvery. Now, should we try the actual silver? We've got this sort of, what's it called? I can't read it myself. Antique silver. Ugh, that's impossible to read, is it? I might be able to see it there. So I'm going to actually use the silver. So I'm going to put a lot in this top corner, there, and then fade it off like that. And then start again here and get darker. Like that, and then fade again. And then come from that corner like that. So it looks like it's catching the light. Sorry, you're very square. There we go. But we've got the reflective metallic pencil as well, doing some of the hard lifting. But you may not be able to see the shine on the pencil. That's why I've left the white as well, so we've got the best of both really. So I think we are done. Yeah. I'm going to get my white pen though and do a few dots here and there before I finish. So this is just my Posca. Now I want to do them all in the centre of here because Cherry Blossom has white seeds. I think actually the seeds might be coloured, but anyway, whatever. If we put white dots, it will hopefully look a bit more like it should. I mean, it doesn't matter, does it? Now if you want to, you can use your white pen to draw some designs on your Easter eggs, but I think there's quite enough detail going on already without the need for that. They're quite small as well. I'm quite happy leaving them just their solid colour. I think they catch the eye that way, I think. There we go. Okay, now I am done. I'm happy with that one, I think. Oh, we have a cake. That looks delicious. We'll see how to colour that tomorrow, but for now I hope you have a super day. Thank you so much for watching and happy colouring.